Have you ever tried to reach behind your back to scratch your mid back? Or if you're a woman who wears a bra, to reach your bra and you just can't get there? Maybe you like get stuck when your hand goes to your butt. Or have you ever tried to reach overhead? You can see my arm. I can't quite get it overhead. I'm limited in that motion. This week, we're going to talk about shoulder mobility and what else we might need to look at besides your shoulder mobility to actually help your mobility get better. So, welcome to the Cheer Athlete. This week, as I talked about, we're going to talk about shoulder mobility. If you don't know me, I'm Laura Turner, and I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I'm a strength coach, and I focus on movement instruction for personal trainers, for cheer coaches, for cheer parents to help you analyze your cheerleader's motion, create better movement screening, and give you the exercises you need to help get your athletes warmed up because these movements, we should get them better as we're doing them, and that should allow us to do more. So when you do a proper warm up and you include the exercises that help to get your joints all greased up and ready to go, you're going to have a better workout, whether that be in the gym or if it in a weight gym or a cheer gym. So last week we talked about neck range of motion and bringing your chin down to your chest and rotating and how that can affect everything down the chain. This week, we're talking shoulders. Go back and check out other episodes because I've also talked about bending forward to touch your toes and leaning backwards. I've talked about standing on one leg, and all of that can be really helpful in tying this all together. We're breaking down movement screening and doing it in chunks and pieces, but the key is to put it all together and find out where the limitations are. So I showed you my shoulder range of motion. I encourage you right now, as you're sitting there, if you're not driving, if you're sitting, or it's easier to do standing and you'll check better motion standing, but see, can you actually reach your hand behind your back and touch your opposite shoulder blade? We should be able to do that in one solid motion with your hand palm up. So not palm against your back, but like the back of your fingernails on your shoulder blade. We should be able to do that equally on both sides. Now, today, my right shoulder is feeling pretty tight. I did push-ups yesterday. That could be it. Reaching behind in one motion and seeing, is it even on both sides? And then I want you to check going overhead. This motion, I'm a little bit better, still pretty tight. But my right, I can pretty much only go like maybe 135, and I probably got like 150 on my left arm. And so I'm going to make note that I'm a little bit asymmetrical on both sides. I've got limitations on my right in both reaching back and reaching forward. In the clinic, I then would break that down and look at isolated motion. Going overhead, you need external rotation, which is turning the hand out. Going behind your back, you need internal rotation. And we have abduction and flexion going overhead, and we have extension and adduction reaching behind your back. So those three motions need to happen at just the right timing. They also need to happen in coordination with your shoulder blade. So when I look at you in the clinic, and what I encourage you to look at as you're looking at your athletes, if they're doing high V's, like what does their shoulder blade do? Does it sit nice and flat against their spine or the rib cage, or does it kind of pop out into that bottom angle pop way out? When we reach behind our back, it still should stay flush. Your shoulder blade should stay flush against your rib cage, but sometimes it will pop out a little bit. When you go overhead, it's got to slide out, and it does elevate a little bit, but it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be hiking your shoulder to get your arm overhead. And that usually means that you need more shoulder blade stability. Most of the time, I work on shoulder blade stability with shoulder issues. But one thing that I've been finding a lot lately with people with frozen shoulder or limitations in that extension motion is their opposite hip is weak. And they need to actually work on strengthening that. When we walk, our left arm moves with our right arm, and it needs to move at the same. We're not like power walking with our arms, but the arms swing and they move symmetrically with the opposite hip. So that means arm that moves forward, the leg that moves forward, your opposite leg. So if my left arm's moving forward, my right leg is moving forward, I'm standing on my left leg. We need that stability in that as the arm moves forward. And then as the arm moves back, it needs to be the right leg. And so checking, that's how single leg stance coordinates with shoulder motion. And so if somebody comes in and has a hard time doing a push-up, check their push-ups, see what they can do. You might look and see, is it actual strength of their upper body? Is it their core strength? Or maybe they actually need to work on some hip strength. Combine a push-up with a single leg stance and see, where is the deficit? Do they have pain? If they have pain, refer them out. They don't have pain. We can look at their shoulder motion to see, is it a motion issue? And then also look at them in single leg stance and see, can they balance with their hips level and their pelvic level and maintaining, ribs down and chin tuck, neck up? And can they hold that for 10 seconds? Or are they all over the place? If someone is cheerleaders in general, but the cheerleaders that I work with, especially the retired cheerleaders, I'm not going to call them old because every cheerleader that I've worked with is younger than me. So they're not old. We're going to, we go up into a high V. And quite often, if you're watching me on YouTube or on Spotify in the video, we tend to shrug. We want to pull up. We hit our high V and we shrug up. So quite often these upper traps get jacked up and tight because we don't teach them to lower down. Your upper traps are quite commonly paired with your quadratus lumborum in the back. And so if those are jacked up, the quadratus lumborum, they're on either side of the back. They kind of do the up and down motion. They flex and extend the spine. But if they're jacked up and the pelvis is hiking up, and then we have tight upper traps, tight QLs, probably weak in one side, and that might inhibit the glute med. You don't have to put this all together. If you want to put this all together, I would like to create a program and a mini course to help kind of let you see the big picture and start to learn the movement screening and see how it all comes together. But if you're not interested in doing that, just start to look at how your athletes are moving, whether in the weight room or in the cheer gym or at home. When you're asking them to do an exercise, is it smooth? Is they're trying to shoulder press? Are they hiking with their shoulders or are they arching their lower back? Can they do it on one knee? And what does that look like? Because then you take the foot out of it and we're really looking at the balance on the hip. Put them in different positions, take the higher level, the standing positions out of it and make it go lower and see, does it correct? If so, that's where they need to work, get them a little bit stronger there, and then move them up into a quadruped position, which is more weight bearing. And you can work the strength on the shoulders there. And then you can work the kneeling and standing, progressing that way. The progressions are endless. The regressions are endless too. The key is making sure that your athletes are moving functionally, that they are not compensating. Now, I've talked about compensation not being a bad thing. We don't want our athletes compensating. We want to be moving fluidly and appropriately. But it doesn't necessarily mean they have to stop. Pain means they should stop and they should go get checked out. But if they're compensating, let's figure out why and make it better so that they're not compensating all over. They're not hiking their shoulders. We want to pull up, get the ribs down, pull your chest up, keep the shoulders relaxed, and keep your pelvis level. That's the stance that's going to create the most stability, whether on the ground or up in the air. And if you're a base or you're doing your heavy and shoulder pressing, same thing. We always try and get up and under. We want to start to teach them to keep their shoulders down, keep their ribs down, get the core stable, make sure we can get that motion. Maybe you need to work on your shoulder range of motion, but maybe you need to work on the core strength and being able to get up and under, being on that one leg to get up and under so that we're not creating other problems down the chain. Shoulder pain is very common for bases because they're really coming up and under, and that can be challenging in how they're holding their mechanics. But when they start to train that or work, making sure they're not holding their breath, that they're working that on the ground, it makes it easier going forward. And if you're a cheer parent, either looking at your athletes or a coach and you're working on your own workouts, see what feels right. If it hurts, back off. If it feels good, do more. We talked a little bit about the strength end of it. Let's talk a little bit. So we movement screen and we talked strength, but what's the corrective there? You want to do exercises that are going to create better mobility. Mobility is what you need. Create stability, which is kind of creating the reflexive control of the muscles, and then just getting our body warmed up. Posted something the other day. I pinned it. So if you follow me on Instagram, go check it out. It's a pinned post by Dr. Jeremy, I believe his name is. And he talked about the importance of a warm up and how that has really been shown to be the injury prevention. So he talked about doing high knee runs and butt kicks and getting your heart rate up and like challenging your nervous system a little bit, like ladder drills and skipping. I think that all of that is wonderful. I like to take it one step back and start on the ground and get your body warmed up on the ground. So starting and then turning over, getting on hand and knees and coming up into kneeling. Basically, you're taking your body through ranges of motion, coming up into stand. So if they have shoulder limitations, so for me, I need to do my trunk mobility work. I need to get my opposite hip engaged, and I need to do my breath work to make sure that everything, and then recheck where my motion is. Then I'm good to go. The key with your movement screen is to identify what needs work and then to put that into your warm up. Maybe you do sets in the middle. So if you're doing shoulder presses, maybe I'm going to, in between my shoulder press and my next squat, which I do as my superset, then I'm going to lay down before I do my shoulder press and do my chest openers to make sure I connect with my breath. Do you see how that's a pattern? Like we do our warm up, we do our corrective exercises as a warm up. If you individualize it, it's going to be easier for your athletes to progress because they're going to be specific to what they need. Not every athlete needs to stretch into a split. Not every athlete needs to do push-ups, but every athlete has a different need. And if you can't do push-ups, they might need to do more core work to be able to do push-ups. So start to look at how they're moving, look at the quality of their motion, look at how they're breathing. If there's something asymmetrical, work more to that one side. And consider if it's a shoulder issue, consider looking what the opposite hip stability is doing and, what their single leg stance is doing. If you put these all together, this will give you a more clear picture of what your athlete needs so you can take them where they want to go. As I talked about earlier, I am planning to create a program, a mini course that is done on your own. There is no extra time. You do it on your own, but you go through and you learn the movement screening process. And I'm going to gear that specific to things that I do in the clinic. You can, if you want to get more training on FMS or SFMA, I highly encourage it because that's where I learn stuff from. But I also do other modalities like immaculate dissection and anatomy and motion. And I use those as part of my assessment tools in my eyes. So pulling that all together, all of those courses are wonderful. 100% encourage anybody to go do them. You don't have to be a physical therapist to do them. But this is going to be a little bit more specific in how I look at and analyze movement and then give you a way to identify what exercises are specific for your client, your athlete's needs, your child's needs, and help to get that warm up going. And then if you want to explore more strength options, we did that too. But injury prevention wise, a warm up is the best option. Knowing what to give as a warm up, your movement screen comes in. And if you want to make that progress, you want to be able to do that autonomously without me standing over you or coming into physical therapy all the time. This is, of course, for you. So if you're interested, please send me a DM on Instagram or leave me a comment below in the platform that you're listening to. And I'd love to talk to you and see how we can make this be really special for you. Next week, let's see. We've gone through most of our body parts. We've done trunk flexion, extension, rotation. We've stood on one leg. We've looked at our neck. We've looked at our shoulders. So maybe we talk more and putting that all together. And we keep on going with this movement assessment to help you learn how to help your athletes move better. So be sure to check in next week. If there's something special, an injury that you want to talk about or a movement that you're struggling with, and what should this movement look like? Please feel free to reach out and we'll have a conversation and we'll do an episode on it and make it generic for everybody because if you've never been told this in school, the question that's sitting in your head is one that's sitting in everybody else's head. So share your questions with me and let's get them answered so that other people can learn and get their questions answered too. All right. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget, when in doubt, breathe out. Take life one step at a time. You can do anything you put your mind to. And as my friend Drew Kelleher said, you're responsible for your own vibes. So go get the day.